Hey, good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy Thursday, everybody. It is Thursday, March 16th, and my name is Alan, and I want to welcome you to my Spiritual Growth Through Recovery podcast. The purpose of these videos is to grow my spirituality by following the AA program of recovery, and I do that by being honest, vulnerable, and being accountable, which is why I do the videos. I'm not an expert on AA, recovery, or spirituality. I'm only sharing my experience on this journey. So the recipe here is we will read the daily reading from the daily AA Daily Reflections book, and then I'll share my take on it. There is a link to the daily reflections online in the description if you want to check that out. All right, so today's topic is as we understand him, as well as discomfort equals opportunity. Excuse me, I got a little cough this morning. As we understand him, my friend suggested what then seemed a novel idea. Why don't you choose your own conception of God? That statement hit me hard. It melted the icy intellectual mountain in whose shadow I had lived and shivered many years. I stood in the sunlight at last. It was only a matter of being willing to believe in a power greater than myself. Nothing more was required of me to make my beginning. I remember the times I looked up into the sky and reflected on who started it all and how. When I came to AA, an understanding of some description of the spiritual dimension became a necessary adjunct to a stable sobriety. After reading a variety of versions, including the scientific of a great explosion, I went for simplicity and made the God of my understanding the great power that made the explosion possible. With the vastness of the universe under his command, he would, no doubt, be able to guide my thinking and actions if I was prepared to accept his guidance. But I could not expect help if I turned my back on that help and went my own way. I became willing to believe, and I have had 26 years of stable and satisfying sobriety. All right, so I guess my take from this is the part about, I remember the times I looked up into the sky and reflected on who started all and how. To me, there's no question that there's some higher power out there. I'm convinced that we are too specific and beautifully made to just be randomized. I do. So I think there has to be a higher power out there. And this whatever this is inside of us, this conscience, this morality, this love, can't be random as well. So I definitely believe there is a higher power. At the beginning, we talked about melted the icy intellectual mountain in whose shadow I had lived. What that tells me is how our own knowledge and our ego can block the sunlight of the spirit. Let all that go. We get light, we get warmth, we get love. Once again, I'm in the way again. I guess the next part is with the vastness of the universe under his command, he would no doubt be able to guide my thinking if I was prepared to accept his guidance. My way doesn't work. I know I say that all the time, so why wouldn't I accept that? If someone's willing to help, why not accept it? I guess the last part is, but I could not expect help if I turned my back on that help and went my own way. Yeah, I mean, who wants to help someone that doesn't want help, right? We try to help people if they don't want it, we let them go, right? But today I'm willing. I am willing today. And I'm still working through my fourth and fifth step. Hopefully finish that tonight. And where do I stand in a higher power? I'm still working on that belief system. I definitely know that I can't run shit. So that gives me some direction there. So all right. So something else I wanted to talk about. I had a kind of really kind of an interesting day yesterday. I've been walking through some discomfort. So this is where I say discomfort equals opportunity instead of discomfort means run away. Ever since I got back from Wichita last August from my sabbatical in Yosemite National Park, I've noticed that I've run from discomfort a lot. And maybe I always did, and I'm just noticing it, but it just feels like I'm, avoiding it, especially at work. All right, especially I'm avoiding discomfort at work. And so today I decided to face that, or yesterday I decided to face that professional discomfort. And I tried to, I'm gonna walk through this. I'm gonna face this thing. I'm not gonna run from it. And and look for the opportunity there, which means maybe overcome a fear, learn something. There's always an opportunity, right? So when I thought of those two words, I like to look at definitions. So a definition for discomfort is slight pain, feeling uneasy, anxious, or embarrassed, mental or physical uneasiness, just not feeling right. An opportunity means a set of circumstances that make it possible to do something. Sometimes things come together, and then what do you do with that? You can turn it into something, more knowledge, what that looks like. Uh, and I believe that the root cause of most of my discomfort is fear. What am I afraid of? And I think today I was worried, being afraid of being inadequate, being judged, and I don't want to feel certain feelings. And I think that leads to a lot of the discomfort I go through. So, um, I got home and I realized, I felt so lost. I spent 13 hours at work yesterday, and by the time I got off work, it was like the first time I dealt with me all day, and I was overwhelmed. I'm like, oh, I didn't want to feel anything. But it was a day that, I've noticed that my stuff seems to come first. I get my workouts in. I you know, do whatever I want to do first. Kind of, it makes priority over work, relationships, everything else. And I didn't get to do that today, and that made me really realize how my stuff comes first, and I'm still living on my will. And so that was a good observation for me, yesterday. Um, well, life's great. I visited a dying friend yesterday, and maybe look at my life. What choices am I making? And I have a great life, and I just got to keep plugging away, keep staying sober, and keep working this program. Um, I got home and it just heaviness, and so I just journal on my phone. And after a while, it's like, okay, that's enough. I don't need to do any more work. No more self-evaluating. I did that part. I'm grateful that I'm willing to look at myself honestly. Um, I gotta give myself some grace. This stuff takes time, and it's gonna. I'll get there. I need to make sure I'm enjoying this journey, or what's the point, right? And then we're gonna be moving on to step 6 and 7, which is surrender my character defects, and I gotta be willing to those fears and those inadequacies and judgment and all those kind of things, and I want to be willing to surrender those. So anyway, I hope you got something from the reading. It's almost the end of the week. Weekend is coming. So anyway, thank you, and be here tomorrow.